Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending when you are watching this feed. It is Thursday, April the 10th. This is Live with Frankie. You know the drill. If you haven't already, make sure you like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If it is your interest to support the cause, make sure you like, comment, and share this feed, this video right here. We're trying to jump on that algorithm wave. Anything, any of those like, comment, or share will really help us moving forward. And again, you are watching the best podcast in the world, according to my mother. There's never a dull day in Cameron County politics, but even more so for the city of Brownsville. Yesterday, the Brownsville South Padre Realtors Association did hold a political forum for the commissioner at large race. I wasn't very satisfied with this, and I had previously opened my big mouth and stated, "Oh, well, I don't see too much action in local politics. We haven't had a debate. We haven't had a forum. Maybe I'll hold one with the candidates." We did get word of this. We did advise the community of this event. It was less than an hour, which kind of felt it wasn't juicy. They asked the basic questions. I would have preferred that they would open up the questions to the audience. I'm not sure the attendance. It was streamed live. Today they will be having two positions on this debate for District 3 and District 4. We will be streaming it. We will be following. We'll share the page. But nonetheless, I think what we're going to do is we're going to have one as well. The invitation will be sent out to all candidates who wish to talk to the constituents in regards to their platform, their goals, how they envision the city of Brownsville in the next few years, and ultimately why we should vote for them. That's what I'm going to try to do. I would encourage the community to take part, participate, ask those tough questions. It feels as if these questions were softball questions, and if the candidates couldn't answer these questions, it was kind of like some candidates. I'll let y'all decide. But some candidates weren't prepared. Some were over prepared, and it showed. But is that enough for the voters to say this person is worthy over this person? We'll see. And I think the more exposure people get, especially these candidates, maybe they'll get into a good little rhythm and they'll go more into detail of what their ideas and plans are. So today they will be having a forum for Districts 3 and 4. And we will do our part because, again, we're 2 weeks away, give or take, 10 days away from early voting, April 22nd. And we want the community to hear from these candidates as much as possible. So I think we'll be doing that as well. It'll be more relaxed, but I want, more than anything, I want the community to ask the candidates questions. It's important for us to hear what they have to say. And I would encourage the candidates just to be frank, to be honest. We always get that political correct response where you don't want to piss people off. You want to stay in that margin to where, again, the candidates are trying to please everybody, right? But we want people that are genuine, and we hope that a talk at 9 a.m. Would open itself up to that. Campaign season is very, very stressful. Anyone that has been part of a campaign knows how difficult it is. It really is a science. You need to have uh, a great support system to get you through darkness, so to speak. Political pundits come into play. Many people. Good morning, Fernando. Hope you have a great day, my man. Many people look for politiqueros for support. One of the hardest things for any candidate to obtain is attention, is growth. How did people know that this individual is running for office? Do they even know that this person is a candidate? What are you running for? Candidates during campaign season, they hire politicos to get their name out there. Essentially, what they're doing is they're paying them for votes. How many votes can you bring me? At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And these politicos, they charge a hefty fine, a hefty fee for their services. Not knocking the hustle. We all want to be there someday. Why do people do this? Because people don't know who they are. People aren't aware of the race that they're in. My former predecessor didn't struggle with that. Everybody and their mother knew here in Brownsville and across the pond in Matamoros. They knew who Erasmo Castro was. He ran every political race known to man. He was actively involved in local politics. He didn't need to pay politicos. He didn't need anyone. We were fortunate enough to be part of every race that he ran. For mayor, for rep, for Democratic chair, for the county. Did you run for the county? For BISD. It was interesting to follow him because he had his platform of close to 100,000 people. And people said, you know what, you come on too much at 9 a.m., 9 a.m., 9 a.m. But what happened? It resonates with the people. Everybody knew who the likes of Erasmo Castro was. That was the beauty of his campaign. He ran 10 races. 9 races, I was actively involved. Actively involved. You're talking about on that van list, block walking, text messaging, phone banking, doing everything possible, putting up signs, holding up signs, giving people rides. This last election with BISD, he didn't do nothing. And when I say no le echo ganas, no le echo ganas, like it was just like we'll see. He bought signs. He put up some signs. But I went to him and I said, look, this is our last chance. We need to do the impossible. We need to do things. Hello, hello. We need to figure out a way. Hello, hello. We need to figure out a way. I told him we need to figure out a way to win this election at BISD. And he was like, well, let me know what you got. Write it down. We'll discuss it. And he was against going to the Herald. He was like, don't go to the Herald. It's trash. Nobody goes through that anymore. He was opposed to block walking. He was opposed to this. It was like, all right, well, let's just write it out. And he won. You think he won because of me or of his family or of somebody else? No, he won that race because he is the cheese. Everybody knew him. He won that race because after 15 years, he got to the pinnacle of his life, professionally, politically, and he won because of his popularity. Political candidates want that. They want an individual that's going to help them with their race, and they think, this person won that race for me. My uncle was a very To me, he was a genius. To me, he was a brain. Everybody, everybody in my family would always say, "Él es un cerebro." He had his way of dealing with people, and looking back on it, he was always one or two steps ahead of everything. He won his race because of himself. Nobody could take credit for winning that race. It was funny that he did mention things after, but he was doing it in a way to push people out of his circle. He was just genius at what he did. But nonetheless, candidates are looking for someone to push them through. I need votes. These forums are a great way for candidates to reach the masses. What we have seen here locally is politicos being actively involved in each and every race. And again, I am not knocking the hustle. We admire the hustle. Good morning, Peña. But what we have seen in our local area has been pundits, political advisors that have always wanted to be part of that winning team that says, hey, I got you this race. Because of me, I put you here. And it is a very interesting situation. Today, we'll be talking about ICE detaining a local political pundit who was actively involved in Cameron County and Brownsville city politics. The interesting thing about this case is timing. Timing, as we know, is everything. Sometimes it could be for good, sometimes it could be for our bad. Ever since President Trump won office, what we heard, and even through the campaign trail, we heard time in and time out how Holman, the director of ICE, was going to focus on national security, protecting the borders. And throughout President Trump's campaign, we heard mass deportations are coming. This isn't something that we're just finding out. No, they were very open about it. They were very blunt about it. Many Hispanics, many minorities were scared because of the uncertainty. What's going to happen? We have seen here locally how that has hit close to home in Los Fresnos. Los Fresnos, last month, a month ago, they arrested the owners of Abby's Bakery because they were accused of hiring undocumented workers. ICE showed up on a workday in front of clients, raided the establishment, and they detained 8 workers and filing charges on the owners. We've heard of ICE being at Walmart, where many people are saying, oh my God, how are they doing this? Many Democrats are saying, andale, that's what you voted for, right? Trump, Latinos for Trump. And we're not seeing this just here locally. We're seeing this on the big throughout the United States. How ICE is deporting people by the masses. They got into an agreement with, is it Guatemala or El Salvador? El Salvador, to house hardcore criminals. We've seen videos. That is the direction that this current administration is going. Why? Because it is affecting our national security. So we have seen how these people aren't playing around. They're going into mom and pop stores. They're going into taquerias. They're going into Walmarts. And they're asking people for identification. and people are getting deported. We got word that a political pundit, a political advisor, was recently deported. We are not aware of the circumstances or of these allegations, but what is clear here is that President Trump's administration is not going to turn the other cheek, turn another eye when individuals are abusing our laws, when they are threatening our national security, and possibly, more than sure, partaking in U.S. or local politics. According to El Periódico del Norte, it states, I'm going to translate, the United States deported Acevedo Danachi, advisor in regards to border relations. Gerardo Acevedo Danachi, the former vice president of international relations for the Chamber of Commerce of Matamoros and self-proclaimed analyst of border studies, whose activities for years have primarily been focused on Matamoros, Brownsville, and a large part of the Rio Grande Valley. He has been deported. He has been deported by ICE. The deportation of Acevedo Danachi took place in one of the international bridges of Matamoros. The more strange about this case is that he too was an attorney. It was said that he represented municipal government before the representation of the city of Brownsville, that maintained him in constant relations with governments, entities on both sides. And he rubbed shoulders with mayors, senators, congressmen from North America. Apparently, these political connections were not enough to keep him in the United States. His immigration status expired and he was deported. The Cameron County Judge Sheriff's Department, headed by Manuel Treviño, confirmed his deportation. What we have seen has been that this administration has been keying individuals that are abusing, breaking the law in the United States. The main targets have been criminals. Cindy Arellano, thank you for sharing this link. President Trump deported Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador. We have seen how there haven't been that much action on our borders. Compared to the previous administration, it was open borders. Now we seem to have a better grasp on our national security with this current administration. They are deporting criminals. It's rare that they just walk up to you for an ID. But remember, an individual who is here illegally is already breaking the law. There are proper channels in order, whenever you cross into a country, you have to go through the port of entry. If that's for asylum, if that's for work purposes, requesting visas. You're right, Ruby Rose. They are targeting criminals. Why was this individual deported? Did he break the law? Did President Trump's administration focus on individuals that are actively involved in political races to say, hey, what was his status? Was he here on a work visa? Did he have a permit? There are many questions left, and there are many questions to ask. But the main one is, how was he breaking the law? And anybody that knows this individual, to me, he was always a person that wanted to be a part of the winning team. It's like all those politicos. I will never be personally. I would never pay someone else to run my campaign or to help me with my campaign. The only people that I pay are my friends that help me put up signs and we go eat. Those are the only people. But candidates, they need people in their campaign. And look, again, I'm not knocking the hustle. We have great marketing teams, campaign managers that charge a hefty fee, 20, 30 grand. More power to them. Again, I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm just saying me personally. But candidates, they feel as if they need individuals to bring them the votes. That is what Danachi was trying to do. He was always an individual that wanted to be part, and he was part of many campaigns. Was he part of a campaign here locally, currently, for the city commission? We have seen how he rubs shoulders, how the article states, with mayors. Here we have Mayor Cowan, city of Brownsville, and Mayor Villalobos from the city of McAllen. This is an individual, probably wasn't in those inner circles, but he had access to them, important people at the municipal, possibly even in Congress, at the Senate level. He rubbed shoulders with these individuals. Why was he deported? What crime did he commit? What was his legal status? Did it run out? Was it not renewed? What is interesting is to find out about the way the government is now attacking individuals that have been for years breaking the law, abusing the system, so to speak. You have people that do the dirty and have people play low role. People do the dirty work for some people. That is why I'm very proud of the legacy that my former predecessor left. He didn't need anybody to run his campaign. He didn't need anybody to win a race. He really didn't. Anybody that knew him could tell you. Any fame, any recognition that he won was because of him. That is why his platform was so powerful. We see how individuals want to create a page. Some politicians have created fake Facebook pages that we'll be talking about very soon. Why? Because they see the power in having a platform. Imagine having the reach of 100,000 people. That was Erasmo Castro. That was his reach. We're a third there with 35,000, 37,000. We hope to get there one day. It took him 15 years. We're just 3 months into that quest. But again, candidates, they want individuals, part of their circles, to win campaign races. Danachi talked a good game. Did he win people races? He had connections, international connections. But did he win races? Whenever an individual is a recipient of a visa, a work permit, asylum, they are bound by certain guidelines. They can't just do whatever they want. They can't break the law. Could they take part in political campaigns? On the application for status here legally in the United States, they ask you very important questions. These questions determine whether an individual qualifies or not. And I want to point out to you three important questions. Have you ever claimed to be a United States citizen? That is a big question. Have you ever committed fraud? Have you ever received any type of benefit because you claim to be a U.S. citizen? Next one, have you ever worked in the United States without authorization? And the last one, have you married someone in order to obtain immigration benefit? Do you know that marriage fraud is a very big thing? ICE is going to be tackling this very seriously. This isn't the old way where former administrations have turned a blind eye to this very important issue. Again, the very important questions. Have you ever claimed to be a United States citizen? Have you ever claimed to be in writing? Have you ever posted something? Have you ever worked in the United States without permission? And probably the most important one, have you married someone in order to obtain an immigration benefit? What happened with Donachi? Did he overstay a permit, a visa? Was he charged criminally in a yet unsealed indictment that we don't know of? Did he have permission to partake in political campaigns? Because according to the Federal Elections Commission of the United States of America, and let me just share, because again, we're only as good as our sources. According to the, I guess I know, some foreign nationals, my bad. According to the Federal Elections Commission, according to the Federal Election of Commissions of the United States, foreign nationals are prohibited from donating to a committee, to a campaign. They are also prohibited from participating in decision making, being political advisors. You're not able to do. You seem happy he was deported. No, not at all. I don't take pleasure in this. Not at all. So they're prohibited from taking part in the decision making. Those individuals that don't have legal status in this country, they can't be part of campaigns. They can't be in giving ideas, making suggestions. I know you are, Tucker. Thank you, though. Political pundits promise the world to candidates. The idea is, I'll get you elected. That is how I will help you. What was Mr. Danache's role? Why was he deported? What was his legal status? Foreign nationals are prohibited from participating in decisions involving election-related activities. A foreign national may not direct, dictate, control, or directly or indirectly participate in the decision-making process of any person, such as a corporation, labor organization, political committee, or political organization, with regard to the person's federal or non-federal election-related activities. This includes decisions concerning the makings of contributions, donations, expenditures, or disbursements in connection with any federal, state, or election, or decision concerning the administration of political laws. Do we have individuals that don't have legal status here in the United States? Yes. Are they actively working political campaigns? That's against the law. To receive a benefit, to be actively part in a campaign. And the questions on the application, again, they reflect that. Have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen? By you being part in a political campaign, do those people know around you that you have no legal status, that you're not able to vote, that you can't be working the political campaigns? What would happen to an individual if ICE gets information that they're taking part in political campaigns, that they've committed marriage fraud? What do you think would happen to those people? Maybe they'll get deported for breaking the law. President Trump's administration has been very clear. Those individuals that break the law of the United States will be handled swiftly. That is what we've been seeing, unfortunately. And it's hard for us living in a border town to understand that. Again, we understand people want to achieve the American dream. But whenever it becomes an issue to where, well, our national security is being affected, benefits, jobs are not going to the American people. That is President Trump's idea of making America wealthy again, making America great again. A local political pundit was arrested. What does that mean? Was deported. What does that mean? Well, it means that either he broke the law, because that has been President Trump's outcry. Criminals who are here in the United States will be deported. No ifs, ands, or buts. There was even a confusion where some Venezuelan man, they thought he was a gangster. He ended up being someone that was either falsely accused or falsely identified. They deported him. President Trump will be addressing individuals that are breaking the law. What law was Danache charged with? What was he doing that got him deported? Was he committing fraud of some sorts? Was he actively involved in political campaigns? And again, if you are in those inner circles, you knew who he was. You would see him. He was very active. He would be at political rallies. He would be at functions, debates. He was everywhere. I could understand why candidates reached out to him. At the end of the day, you have somebody taking pictures with senators, mayors. You think that they could help. Most of these individuals, they're not that great. I dare say that Pink Ape is probably the marketing firm at the local, I would even dare say at the state side, at this, they're good at what they do. Say what you say. They they charge good because they're good. Why was Dinache deported? Why was he considered a criminal? Did he overstay his visa? Did he overstay a work permit? He was an attorney, or he is an attorney, according to the report. He had all the connections with all these mayors and senators. They couldn't save him to save grace. Was he working political campaigns and somebody reported it? Many people have been in uproar over this picture. Here we have Dinache with 2 commissioners and 1 running for city commission, District 3. Whenever, according to the, this is at Toscafino, if I'm not mistaken, was this part of her, I don't know why people do this, but was this part of her extravagant night? Let me see. According to Ms. Barraza's campaign finance report, it states that she spent 1,000. Let me see. Am I on the screen? That she spent $1,800. $1,800 at Toscafino for marketing and planning for campaign support. Meeting and planning for campaign support. $2,000 for 2 meetings at Toscafino. Damn, how many drinks? How many drinks were ordered? $2,000 to feed, what was it? How many people were they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn, like close to $300. Oh, well, it was on 2 occasions. But nonetheless, Dinache was actively involved with candidates. He rubbed shoulders with very influential people within the city. Why was he deported? U.S. District Judge Fernando Rodriguez Jr. issued a temporary restraining order barring the Trump administration from removing 3 men from Texas. Yes, it's an ongoing issue. Dinache was actively involved in political campaigns. When Corina Barraza on her campaign finance report states that she went to these establishments, Toscafino, and spent close to $2,000 on 2 separate times, was she planning, strategizing with Dinache? Did he offer advice? Did she hire him for his services, for his connections? It's not on her campaign finance report, but maybe was a deal done under the water? Because again, foreign nationals who don't have a status in the United States, those undocumented, they can't work political campaigns. They can't be involved in any decision making, according to the Federal Elections Commission of the United States. They're prohibited from providing assistance in any contributions, in any political parties, in any rallies. But here we have Dinache taking part in campaigns. What's going to happen to those individuals that do the same? If it happened to Dinache, who had good relations with very important people, who was probably on speed dial with many of them, had him on the phone. If they couldn't save Tanache from getting deported, now we don't know the circumstances, but if we could visualize Holman's idea of those individuals breaking the law, an individual without citizenship, without status, without being a United States citizen, is actively involved in political campaigns, best believe ICE is going to knock on their door. Best believe ICE is going to investigate those individuals. If they did it to business owners, mom and pops, who you would think, they wouldn't harm a fly. But at the end of the day, if you're here illegally, harboring illegals, employing illegals, it's against the law. I don't want to sound cold-hearted. That's the law. If an individual is committing marriage fraud, it's against the law. What's going to happen to those individuals that do so? 9 times out of 10, that person's getting deported. I find no comfort, no joy in this. We're simply just reporting the facts. This individual was part of campaigns. What was his legal status? He was an attorney, and he still got deported. You know, ICE is not messing around. It is Thursday, April the 10th. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Hope to see you here every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Same Batman time, same Batman channel. We previously stated how we will be doing a mini debate. Are Abby's owners being charged for human smuggling? I think they got their case dismissed or something happened. I haven't followed up with it. I will actually write. Well, let's look for it. What happened? I think they got their charges. They got released on bond. Owners. Here, let's go. You want to follow up, Tucker? I'll give you a follow up. Let me see. Oh, here it is. Let's see what it says about it just says Baez and Norma Avila Gul Bakery in the Texas community Los Frenos is a daily stop for many residents to share gossip. When Homeland investigation agents showed up at Abby's back in February, they arrested the owners and 8 employees, but the bakery owners, Baez and Avila Guel, a Mexican couple who are legal U.S. permanent residents, could lose everything after being accused of concealing and harboring immigrants who were in the United States illegally. It is a rare case in which business owners face criminal charges rather than just a fine. Well, if this happened for the business owners, what about the politicians that offer them jobs? Could they face some sort of sanctions? Could they face some sort of charge if they're hiring illegals to work for them, to work for an organization? If people don't have social security numbers? That's a good question. We see how the Abbey owners of the bakery, how they were arrested for providing jobs. I'm not sure about human smuggling, but harboring an illegal alien. Are the candidates who hire these people, are they susceptible to something similar? Possibly. Possibly not. The interesting thing about this case is that he was an attorney, that he had all these deep connections with people, and he still felt the wrath of ICE. What does that lead us to believe? That he was probably charged with a crime, that he overstayed his work permit, his visa, or maybe the gringos just didn't like for a Mexican with no legal status to be trying to dip their hands in politics. What the hell are you doing here? You have no status. Can you vote? Can you work in the United States? Are you getting married for immigration purposes, for benefits? ICE will come down hard on those individuals that are here illegally, breaking the law, committing marriage fraud, working campaigns, actively working campaigns. If it happened to Donachi, it could happen. It could happen to you. It is Thursday, April the 10th. This is Live with Frankie. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. Make sure you like, comment, and share this feed. Again, we will be having a mini debate. We feel as if the questions from the Brownsville South Padre Forum, they're too softball. I want something more juicy. Quiero golpes. Golpes en el corazón, pero tú que me has dado falsas promesas de amor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. It's Thursday, almost the weekend. Let's get it. Peace.